Okay, guys. Before I say anything else, I'm gonna say that y'all should be proud of me because it's not the middle of the night when I'm making this video, which is my status quo and my normal. Normally I make videos at like 2 a.m., but right now it's only 8:05 p.m. Progress. And now that that's out of the way, and I'm very glad you all are proud of me, like I know you are. I'd like to say that today I am talking about being a spiritual shark, which sounds like a bad thing, and it sounds like you'd be being like really greedy and being very like predatory, king of the ocean, murdering everything, eating people, Jaws, the Meg, so on and so forth, because sharks have a negative connotation attached to them in society, even though they're not really like that bad of creatures. If anything, humans are worse than they are. But basically what I mean by being a spiritual shark is just always moving. Always continuing to move forward, always moving, never getting stuck. Because sharks, I don't know if this is a fact or not, but it's something I know about sharks, have to keep swimming to survive. They can't stop moving. Like, even if they're staying in one place, they have to like keep swimming like against a wall or something. I mean, that's for the aquarium, obviously. You can't swim against the wall in the ocean. But they can't stay in one place or they'll die. I don't know why. I don't know if it's true. I just know I was taught this in elementary school. Science might have moved on by now. But for my little speech today, it's the truth. And basically, like, how I'm relating that into being a Christian and how I think it correlates is that the same thing. You always need to keep moving in your faith, because I found myself like being hung up on the highlights of my faith that have happened in the past. And like if you're hung up on like your highlight reel, then you can't make any new memories and you can't move forward in your walk with Christ. And like everything that's has happened that I consider a highlight is like already happened to me. Like, I'm not having any like big new God moments all the time, but I'm continuously thinking about things that happened 5 years ago. And like, you can't strive towards your next big Jesus moment if you're not looking forward. Like, if you're being hung up on everything that happened in the past. So like, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be thankful for all the things that God's done for you in your life. I'm just saying, if it's in your past, let it be in your past so you can keep moving forward. Like, I'm still thankful for all like the big times He's helped me, and He's helped me to grow and continue and move on as a person. But that can't just be it for me. Like, if I'm continuously thinking about like how He talked to me that one time at summer retreat, my very first year I went to summer retreat, or like how He funneled the tormenting thoughts out of my brain, or led me to Life Church, or did this or did that, like, then I can't do the next big thing. And like, those things still play into my life now, but they can't be the only things I'm continuing to thank God for. Like, every time I pray, I can't be like, oh God, thank you for this thing you did for me 5 years ago, I really appreciate it. Like, because He doesn't want you to be continuing to thank Him for what He did for you in the past. He wants you to actively be seeking for growth in your future. So instead of praying, being like, God, I just really appreciate all these things that You've always done for me, and like listing off the list of things He's done, like, you need to be praying for your next big Jesus moment, you know? Because if you've stopped growing in your faith, like, is your faith really still active? Because God always has more for you. He always has more for you. So if you're at a point in your faith where your faith is no longer growing and like it's plateaued, maybe you need to let go of some of the amazing things He did for you in the past. because there's always room to grow and improve. Like, all the good pastors, all the good Christians, like, your faith never stagnates, it just grows. Sorry, I needed to check my notes. Because I had an example and I couldn't remember what it was. But, when I was a sophomore in high school, the Lord found a way to bring me back into a church environment that I'd never really been in before, even though I'd been, exposed to it. So he brought me to, this cute little small Methodist church, and that was a really good place for me to be then, because I was with someone I already knew and already had a good repertoire with and trusted her a lot. And that was an amazing place for me to learn more about him, but I never really could grow there. It was a learning environment for me, not a growing environment, which learning is good, but I didn't become a Christian there. I just learned more about the Christian faith there. And even after it was time for me to let go of that church, I kept going back to it because it's what I knew. It was the only church I'd really ever been to. And then one day, my best friend, she invited me to go check out this sermon series another church was doing, and neither one of us had been there before. It just seemed like a cool sermon series. So we went and we checked it out, and I kept going back there. And I had to change churches in order to continue growing in my faith with Christ. I can 100% say if I stayed at that Methodist church, I wouldn't really be a fully devoted Christian, and I wouldn't have grown in my faith to the point I have now, as I have since I switched churches. Because the Methodist church I was going to, like I said, was an amazing learning church, but I couldn't actively apply my faith there and actively grow my faith there. There weren't any serving opportunities for me personally, and it wasn't the sermons I needed to hear in order to be challenged and grow. It's a perfect fit for other people, and there's hundreds of people who that's the right place for them to be going to church now, but I personally needed to switch churches in order to grow in my faith and actively start serving the church instead of just consuming what the church was producing, and continue to grow in my faith instead of just letting it plateau. So this long ramble is basically me just saying, if you found yourself in a point in your faith where you just plateaued and you're not growing anymore, and you're just hung up on all the things, amazing things God has done for you in your past, maybe it's time for you to let go of them so you can continue to grow in Him. Be a shark, man. Keep swimming, or you'll die. So you need to pick up your cross daily for God, or you'll just find your faith fading away. And if it's not growing,